Some of the youth in the diaspora have started to sort of try to reclaim the narrative in the last few years. There's more and more youth on the front lines of protests being more vocal about who Sikhs are and why sovereignty or issues like that are important to the Sikh community. But at the same time, there is that element of fear that you've touched on. And there's this question of, well, if I speak up, if I say something that the authority figures don't want to hear, then I might have to pay a price for that. Why do you keep doing that kind of work despite those repercussions? And what message do you have to young people today who are torn between family commitments and safety and speaking up and trying to seek some form of justice for the community?
You know, I work with a lot of people who are, some are lawyers, some are poets, some are bureaucrats, some work for Indian government, some work for Indian police also. And what I see is that this is really an individual who has to figure out how to deal with. They all don't feel it's just you. Now I'm going to bring it back to Gurbani because that's the only thing I know from a Sikh angle. We are the ones who say nirbhau, nirvair. Why do we repeat this? So we can become like that one day. It's nirbhau, nirvair comes together, that's why. Fearless as well as not creating animosity with anyone else. Now, very human emotion is that we will have fear. We have to figure out how to confront it. And it is okay if an individual is not able to confront it for certain reasons. I think it's okay. We need to stop looking down on people. Sikh history is not the history of everyone who self-identified as Sikh. Sikh history in our narrative is those who did things, who overcame fear. And we never look down upon those who didn't do it. That's not the story we tell. We all have our limits. I don't know what I'm going to face tomorrow and what will I do? I actually don't know. If I tell you that I know, I'm lying. They have the torture mechanisms. They have the drugs. This happened in 80s and 90s, including at PGI. If somebody says ki main nahi kuch dassanga, I can tell you it's next to impossible. So, sannu thoda jana, the only thing I know from Gurbani is this, and this is Guru Arjan's line, and Guru Arjan Sahib says, Bhagta te sasariya ras kade na aaya. We are the worldly. We have emotions, so sometimes they're high, we want to do things, but Guru Arjan Sahib is saying they're the worldly and they're the devoted, and they never meet. They are on different paths. So if you want to be on this path, you have to deal with the worldly elements, which is where the fear is, because you do have a real fear for your own thing, for your family things, for reputations, for life, all sorts of things are there. But Sikh history is of jede devoted ne. Oh story aisi dasde, and even the ones who have fear, we still salute them because they overcome that element within them. So I would say, if it's a Sikh inspiration that you believe in, then ask for that, become like that. For some individuals, it may be, in 1 year they can figure out, or for some it may be at 80 they can't figure out. But I don't know what else it is. I can give you some manufactured answer, but in Sikhi it's pretty clear. We all have fear. We are trying to become nirbhau, nirvair as well, like we're trying to become Satnam as well. It's a question of limits. And nobody knows your limit. You may know your limit depending on your situation.